connected. So on June 3rd is one of our greatest poets and activists' birthday, Allen Ginsberg. Allen Ginsberg was our great friend and our mentor, and such a beautiful poet and a great leader and a great activist. And I wish he was here, because he would give that so-called president of ours quite a run for his money. But we do what we can in Alan's spirit. But you have no idea what this man was like. He was really like 10 men. He was, as Walt Whitman, who was his great spiritual mentor, Walt Whitman said, "We contain multiples," and so he did. And this is a little story of how I met Alan in New York City in 1969. Horn and Hardart, the queen of automats. Do you have automats here, or did you ever? Do you know what an automat is? No. I'll explain it. The routine is, you get a seat and a tray, then you go to the back wall where there were rows of little windows. You would slip some coins in a slot, open the hatch, and there would be a sandwich or a fresh apple pie.
We have to fable. Fable.
It's how we ate in 1969.
We still do. We still do.
My favorite was chicken pot pie, or a cheese and mustard sandwich with lettuce on a poppy seed roll. Robert liked their two specialties, baked macaroni and cheese with chocolate milk. I know, terrible, right? I was always hungry. I metabolized my food very quickly. Robert could go without eating longer than me. If we were out of money, we just didn't eat. They didn't have credit cards in 1969, and if they did, we'd never get one. So if you had no money, you just didn't eat. One drizzly afternoon, I had such a hankering for one of those cheese and lettuce sandwiches. I went through all of our coats, all of our belongings, underneath the bed, and I found exactly 55 cents, enough to buy a sandwich. I put on my gray trench coat and my Mayakovsky cap, and I headed to the automat. In those days, I named all my clothes. So I had my Ingrid Bergman raincoat and my Mayakovsky hat. Everything had a name. I got my tray, and I slipped my coins, but the window wouldn't open. And I thought, well, I tried it again. The window wouldn't open. And then I noticed the price of a sandwich had gone up to 65 cents. Yeah, right now you're supposed to go, oh. Anyway, I was disappointed, to say the least, when I heard a voice say, "Can I help?" I turned around, and it was Allen Ginsberg. We had never met, but there was no mistaking the face of one of our great poets and activists. I looked into those intense dark eyes, punctuated by his dark curly beard, and I just nodded. Allen added the extra dime and also stood me for a cup of coffee. I wordlessly followed him to his table, and then I plowed into the sandwich. Allen introduced himself. He was talking about Walt Whitman, and then I finally spoke, and I said I was raised near Camden, where Whitman was buried, when he leaned forward and looked at me intently. "Are you a girl?" he said. "Yeah," I said. Is that a problem?" He just laughed. He said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I just took you for a very pretty boy." I got the picture immediately. Well, does that mean I gotta return the sandwich? No, you enjoy it. It was my mistake. I ate the sandwich and he told me he was writing a long elegy for Jack Kerouac, who had recently passed away. 3 days after Rimbaud's birthday, I said solemnly, and I shook his hand and we parted company. Sometime later, Alan became my good friend and my teacher. We often reminisced about our first encounter, and he once asked how I would describe how we first met. I would say, "You fed me when I was hungry," and he did.